Imagine this. You're descending through the ocean, the light fading fast, pressure building like 1,000 invisible hands squeezing your body. Suddenly, out of the total blackness, a living lantern appears, dangling a glowing lure right in front of a mouth full of needle teeth. One wrong move and you're dinner. This isn't a horror movie. This is the real deep blue sea, a place more alien than Mars, more dangerous than any jungle, and 95% of it still completely unexplored. In the next hour we're diving deeper than most humans have ever gone, uncovering jaw-dropping non-fictional facts about the creatures, the extreme conditions, and the ancient myths born from the monsters that actually live down there. Stick around because every single minute something even crazier is coming, and by the end you'll never look at the ocean the same way again. Let's plunge in. Right now, as you watch this, the oceans cover 71% of our planet's surface but contain a staggering 99.9% of all the habitable space for life on Earth. That's right, almost every living thing that could possibly exist on this world does so underwater. The total volume? 1.35 billion cubic kilometers of water. If you tried to drain it all, the salt left behind would cover the entire planet in a 500-foot thick layer. Yet we've only mapped about 5% of the seafloor in high detail. We literally know more about the surface of the Moon and Mars than our own ocean floor. Think about that next time someone says we've explored the planet. The average depth is 3,688 meters, over 2 miles straight down. But the deepest point, Challenger Deep in the Mariana Trench, plunges to 10,994 meters. That's deeper than Mount Everest is tall by more than a mile. At the bottom the pressure is 8 tons per square inch, enough to crush a submarine like a soda can. Yet life thrives there. How? We're about to find out. 99% of the ocean is in total darkness all the time. Sunlight only reaches the first few hundred meters. Below that it's perpetual night, colder than your freezer, and food is so scarce that some creatures go months without eating. But evolution found ways. Bioluminescence lights up the abyss like a living disco. Over 90% of deep-sea animals can produce their own light using chemical reactions. Some use it to attract mates, others to confuse predators, and the anglerfish uses it as a deadly fishing rod. Speaking of the anglerfish, picture this nightmare, a female the size of a football with a massive mouth, razor teeth, and a long glowing lure dangling from her forehead like a built-in fishing pole. She waits motionless in the dark until some unlucky fish swims by, lured by the light, and snap, it's gone. But the weirdest part? The males are tiny, like an inch long. When a male finds a female he bites into her skin, fuses his body to hers, and literally becomes a permanent sperm-producing parasite. They share blood, he loses his organs except the testes, and they live happily ever after as one creature. Scientists call it sexual parasitism. Nature is metal. And we're just getting started. The deep sea is home to creatures that look like they escaped from a sci-fi film. Take the Dumbo octopus, named after the Disney elephant because of its ear-like fins that flap gently as it flies through the water at depths up to 13,000 feet. It's adorable until you realize it's hunting snails and worms in total blackness. Or the vampire squid, not a squid or octopus but its own ancient lineage, with the largest eyes relative to body size of any animal. When threatened it turns its webbed arms inside out like a cloak and releases glowing mucus to escape. It doesn't even hunt, it just drifts collecting marine snow, the falling bits of dead stuff from above. But nothing prepares you for the pressure. At Challenger Deep it's like having 50 jumbo jets stacked on every square inch of your body. Yet the Mariana snailfish survives there at 8,338 meters, the deepest fish ever recorded. Its body is soft and gelatinous, no swim bladder to crush, and it produces chemicals that keep its cells from being squished flat. Scientists caught footage of it casually swimming where no other vertebrate can go. Imagine a fish that laughs at 8 tons of pressure per square inch. Nearby, amphipods the size of your hand scavenge like underwater hyenas. In 2011 researchers dropped a camera and bait to 10,000 meters and these giant crustaceans swarmed it within minutes. They can withstand the pressure because their bodies are mostly water, incompressible like the ocean itself. And get this, some deep-sea creatures are so perfectly adapted that bringing them up to the surface kills them instantly from the lack of pressure. They literally explode from the inside. Now let's talk temperature. Below 200 meters it's a steady 4 degrees Celsius, just above freezing. Yet hydrothermal vents spew water at 400 degrees Celsius, hot enough to melt lead. These black smokers are chimneys of minerals where chemosynthesis happens, life without sunlight. Tube worms up to 8 feet long have no mouth or gut. Instead, symbiotic bacteria inside them turn hydrogen sulfide from the vents into energy. Entire ecosystems of crabs, clams, and shrimp thrive in this toxic hellscape discovered only in 1977. Before that, scientists thought nothing could live below the sunlight zone. They were spectacularly wrong. One of the strangest vent dwellers is the Yeti crab, covered in hairy arms that farm bacteria like a living greenhouse. It waves its fur in the hot water to grow its food. Nature invented agriculture millions of years before humans. The deep sea also hides giants that inspired the wildest myths. For centuries sailors told stories of the kraken, a colossal beast that could drag entire ships to the bottom with its tentacles. Turns out the myth came straight from real giant squid. Females can reach 43 feet long, with eyes the size of dinner plates so they can spot predators like sperm whales in the dark. In 2004 the first live giant squid was filmed, and in 2025 we finally got footage of the even bigger colossal squid in its natural habitat, a baby one just a foot long but already legendary. These animals battle whales, leaving sucker scars on their skin as proof. The kraken was never legend, it was just undiscovered reality. Another myth that's 100% based on a real animal? The mermaid. Ancient sailors swore they saw beautiful women with fishtails singing on rocks. What they actually saw were dugongs and manatees, gentle sea cows that sometimes rise to the surface and hold their young in their flippers like human mothers. From a distance, especially after months at sea with bad eyesight and worse rum, they looked humanoid. The scientific order is even called Cyanea after the sirens of Greek myth. Columbus himself wrote in his log about spotting mermaids near Haiti in 1493. Sorry, Disney, but real mermaids are 1,000-pound vegetarians with mustaches. Sea serpents terrified sailors for millennia. Long, coiling monsters that could swallow boats whole. The real culprit? The oarfish, the world's longest bony fish, up to 36 feet of silver ribbon with a bright red crest and horse-like face. These deep-sea drifters live 600 to 3,000 feet down but wash ashore when sick or stressed, looking exactly like the dragons of legend. In Japan they are still considered harbingers of earthquakes because they are sensitive to pressure changes. One washed up right before the 2011 tsunami. Coincidence? Maybe. Terrifying? Absolutely. Let's keep the chills coming. The frilled shark looks like a living fossil from 80 million years ago, with an eel body, 6 frilly gill slits, and 300 needle teeth arranged in 25 rows. It swallows prey whole like a snake and has been filmed at 5,000 feet doing its slow, undulating hunt. Goblin sharks are even weirder, with a shovel snout and jaws that shoot forward like a slingshot to snag fish in the dark. Their skin is pinkish-gray and they look like nightmares with overbite. Then there's the black swallower, a 10-inch fish with an expandable stomach that can gulp down prey 10 times its size and weight. It's basically a living trash compactor of the abyss. And the barrel-eye fish has a completely transparent head so its tubular eyes can look straight up through its own skull to spot prey silhouettes against the faint light from above. It literally sees through its forehead. Bioluminescence gets even crazier. The bloody bellycomb jelly has a bright red stomach that looks black in the deep where red light doesn't travel, so predators can't see its last meal glowing inside. Siphonophores, colonies of thousands of tiny animals working as one, can stretch 154 feet long, longer than a blue whale, and flash bright blue when disturbed. One species, Maris orthicana, looks like a string of Christmas lights drifting through the dark. The cookie-cutter shark is only 2 feet long but leaves perfect circular bite marks on whales, tuna, and even submarines. It uses its suction cup lips to latch on, then spins its serrated lower teeth like a saw to scoop out a plug of flesh. It's the ultimate hitchhiker with a chainsaw. Deep-sea gigantism makes everything bigger down there. Giant isopods look like armored woodlice the size of a house cat, up to 16 inches long, scavenging whale falls on the seafloor. They can go years without eating. Sea spiders have legs wider than dinner plates and suck the life out of anemones and sponges with a straw-like proboscis. One of the most disturbing is the zombie worm, Osedax. Females bore into whale bones and grow root-like structures that house symbiotic bacteria to digest the fat and protein. They have no mouth or gut. Males are microscopic and live inside the female's body as nothing but sperm factories. Whale bones become underwater apartment complexes for these bone-eating worms. And speaking of long lives, the Greenland shark can live over 400 years. Some swimming today were born before Shakespeare wrote Hamlet. They grow just a centimeter a year in the freezing Arctic depths and reach 24 feet long. Researchers dated them by counting radioactive traces from Cold War nuclear tests in their eye lenses. These ancient sharks move so slowly they are basically living fossils. The daily vertical migration is the largest movement of animals on Earth. Every night, billions of creatures rise from the mesopelagic zone, the twilight layer between 200 and 1,000 meters, to feed on plankton near the surface. Then before dawn they sink back down, carrying carbon with them. This biological pump helps regulate our climate. Without it the oceans would be very different. Phytoplankton produce at least half the oxygen we breathe. Every other breath you take comes from the sea. Yet these microscopic plants are so small that if you stacked all the ocean's plankton, they'd weigh more than all the land animals combined. Now for recent mind-blowers from 2025. Scientists finally filmed a live colossal squid in its natural habitat for the first time, a juvenile glowing in the South Atlantic depths. We discovered at least 20 brand new species in the Pacific Twilight Zone near Guam using underwater hotels that collected specimens for years. One is a carnivorous death ball sponge covered in tiny hooks that traps prey like a living Velcro trap. Another new snailfish was found at 3,263 meters. And researchers confirmed dark oxygen produced on the seafloor by polymetallic nodules without any sunlight or photosynthesis. The deep sea is literally breathing on its own. Exploration is exploding too. In 2025 NOAA and Schmidt Ocean Institute mapped huge areas around Hawaii and the Cook Islands, finding new mud volcanoes and vent fields. Yet we still know almost nothing. Every dive brings new species. The deep is the last true frontier on Earth. Let's talk shipwrecks. There are an estimated 3 million on the seafloor, more historical artifacts than in all museums combined. Some still hold treasure worth billions. The Titanic sits at 3,800 meters where wood-eating bacteria can't survive because of the cold and pressure, preserving it eerily well until recently when it started collapsing anyway. The oceans store 38,000 gigatons of carbon, 16 times more than all land life. They are our biggest climate buffer, but they are changing fast. Back to creatures. The pink see-through Fantasia sea cucumber is almost completely transparent, so you can watch its organs working as it rows through the water with umbrella-like fins at 2,000 meters. It literally poops to lose weight before swimming upward. The cockeyed squid has one huge eye pointing up and one small eye pointing down. The big one watches for silhouettes from above while the little one hunts bioluminescent prey below. It swims at a 45-degree angle like it's permanently tilted. Wharf crabs at hydrothermal vents have furry chests full of bacteria that they farm for food. Up to 700 can crowd into a single square meter around a vent, turning toxic chemicals into dinner. The dragonfish has fangs made of nanocrystals stronger than shark teeth and a luminous barbel to lure prey right into its gaping mouth. Females grow to 20 inches, males stay tiny. The snipe eel has a beak-like jaw that stays open while it swims, snatching anything that drifts in. Its body is so thin it looks like a living ribbon. The gulper eel can unhinge its massive mouth to swallow prey bigger than itself, then its stomach stretches like a balloon. Its glowing tail tip may act as a lure in the total dark. Viperfish have teeth so long they can't close their mouths without puncturing their own brains, so the fangs curve backward or stick out the sides. They look like they are smiling with daggers. The bigfin squid has tentacles up to 20 times its body length with elbow-like bends, drifting like ghostly aliens at 20,000 feet. We've only seen them a handful of times. Lanternfish are the most common vertebrates on the planet, making up 60% of all deep-sea fish biomass. Their light organs help them school and communicate in total darkness. The hatchetfish has a razor-thin silver body shaped like a hatchet so it can hide from predators looking up by reflecting the faint surface light perfectly. Sea pigs, deep-sea sea cucumbers, walk on stilt-like tube feet across the mud, vacuuming up organic fallout. They gather in herds around whale carcasses like underwater vultures at a buffet. The rabbitfish, also called chimera, has venomous spines and teeth fused into plates to crush shells. It swims poorly using only its pectoral fins like wings. Squidworms have 10 long tentacles like party streamers to collect marine snow and 25 pairs of paddles to swim at 9,500 feet. They look like something Dr. Seuss would draw after too much coffee. Deep-sea lizardfish lie on the bottom with heads raised, waiting to snap up anything swimming overhead with razor fangs on their tongue too. The deep red jellyfish in the Arctic uses spaghetti tentacles to catch food and may change sex during its life. Now the longest pregnancy in any vertebrate belongs to the frilled shark, up to 3.5 years. Embryos eat each other inside the mother until only the strongest are born. Male blanket octopuses are 1 inch long, females 6 feet. When mating the male rips off his own arm loaded with sperm and hands it to the female, then dies. Pufferfish males create perfect mandala sand circles 7 feet wide using only their fins to attract mates. The patterns are so precise they look computer-generated. Parrotfish poop out white sand. One fish produces over 200 pounds of beach sand per year by grinding coral. Mantis shrimp punch so hard they create cavitation bubbles that reach the temperature of the sun's surface and can break aquarium glass. Boxer crabs carry stinging anemones in their claws like living boxing gloves for protection and hunting. Barnacles on whales act like natural GPS tags because their shells record the oxygen isotopes from the waters the whale traveled through. Little skates can regrow their own cartilage skeletons, a discovery that could help human medicine. Marine iguanas have trident-shaped teeth perfect for scraping algae off rocks underwater. Lobsters pee on each other during courtship to deliver powerful pheromones. Sand tiger shark embryos eat their siblings in the womb so only the strongest two are born. Sea turtles cry excess salt through glands near their eyes when on land. Starfish can rarely be born square due to a mutation. Sperm whales have the biggest nose in the animal kingdom, used to create booming clicks louder than a jet engine for hunting in the dark. Dolphins can echolocate so precisely they see through soft tissue like X-ray vision. Great white sharks replace up to 20,000 teeth in a lifetime. Harlequin shrimp flip starfish over and eat them alive over days. Sea sponges are older than dinosaurs, some living 11,000 years, and were among the first multicellular animals. Pygmy seahorses may spend their entire lives on one sea fan the size of a dinner plate. Ultra-black fish absorb 99.5% of light so they vanish completely in the deep. The ghost fish was filmed at 8,143 meters in the Mariana Trench, the deepest fish sighting ever. Basking sharks have 1,500 tiny useless teeth even though they filter feed like whales. Gray whales hold the record for longest mammal migration, over 14,000 miles round trip. Octopuses have 3 hearts and blue copper-based blood. 60% of their neurons are in their arms, so an arm cut off can still solve puzzles. And finally, the deep sea is still full of mysteries. We've only scratched the surface. New species appear with every expedition. Dark oxygen, death ball sponges, colossal squid footage in 2025, it keeps coming. The ocean is the largest habitat on Earth, the source of our oxygen, our weather, our food, and our myths. It deserves our protection and our awe. Picture this, you're strapped into a submersible plunging past 30,000 feet, where the weight of the entire ocean above crushes everything fragile. The lights pierce total void, and suddenly your beam catches something impossible, a dense forest of blood-red tentacles rising like skyscrapers from the sediment, crawling with iridescent snails and bristly white wrigglers moving like commuters in rush hour. This isn't fiction. In 2025, a Chinese-led team in the Kuro-Kamchatka and Aleutian trenches filmed the deepest chemosynthetic communities ever seen, stretching miles at over 9,500 meters. These thriving hubs prove life doesn't just survive the Hadal zone, it dominates it. Welcome back to the abyss, where every new dive rewrites what we think is possible. Today we're uncovering more mind-bending realities of the deep blue, hidden ecosystems, bizarre adaptations, recent breakthroughs from 2025 to 2026, and the true animals behind even more ancient sea legends. The deeper we go, the wilder it gets. Stay locked in because the revelations keep escalating. The Hadal zone starts below 6,000 meters and plunges to almost 11,000 in places like the Mariana Trench. Sunlight? Zero. Temperatures hover near freezing. Food? Scarce fallout from above or chemical energy from the Earth's crust. Yet in 2025 expeditions using the manned submersible Fendouge, researchers mapped entire ecosystems spanning 2,500 kilometers across trenches. Cyboglinid polychaetes, long, worm-like animals, and bivalves form the backbone, fueled by microbes converting methane and hydrogen sulfide into energy. Over 7,500 new microbial species were sequenced from these sites, with 89% never seen before. These microbes aren't just surviving, they're engineering the habitat, creating mats and structures that support higher animals. It's like discovering a whole new branch of the tree of life right under our noses. Midway up, in the midnight zone from 1,000 to 4,000 meters, MBRI's 2025 footage captured ultra-black fishes that absorb 99.5% of incoming light, vanishing completely against the backdrop. Their skin is engineered with pigment structures that trap photons so efficiently they make stealth aircraft look amateur. These fish drift silently, invisible to predators with eyes tuned to faint bioluminescence. When they need to hunt, their own faint glow gives them away only at the last second. Bioluminescence rules the dark. 90% of midwater animals produce light, but not all for hunting. Some use it for camouflage through counter-illumination, matching the faint downwelling light from the surface so predators looking up see nothing. Others flash in complex patterns to communicate across vast distances where sound travels oddly due to pressure layers. Hydrothermal vents aren't the only chemical oases. Cold seeps release methane and sulfide slowly from sediment cracks, supporting similar communities but at lower temperatures. In 2025, explorers in the South Sandwich Islands found new vents at just 700 meters, shallow for chemosynthesis, but teeming with life. Nearby, vibrant coral gardens bloomed on seamounts, untouched by warming surface waters. These polar ecosystems in one of Earth's remotest chains included suspected new corals, sponges, snails, urchins, and sea stars. Explosive volcanism evidence suggested recent eruptions shaping fresh habitat. One standout from that expedition, a carnivorous death ball sponge, Chondrocladia species nova. Unlike filter-feeding cousins, this spherical predator is covered in tiny hooks that snag passing crustaceans and small fish, immobilizing them like a living flypaper trap. It flips the script on what we thought sponges could do, passive to actively deadly. Another recent gem, zombie worms, Ozdak species, observed boring into bones at Hadal depths. Females extend root-like structures into whale falls or other carcasses, hosting bacteria that digest lipids. Males? Tiny parasites living inside the female. These worms turn sunken skeletons into nutrient hotspots lasting decades. In the abyssal plains, vast flat expanses between 3,000 and 6,000 meters, scavenging dominates. Sea cucumbers called sea pigs plod along on tube feet, vacuuming organic detritus. They herd around food falls, turning the mud into living carpets. Some host symbiotic bacteria in their guts to extract every last calorie from marine snow. New species keep pouring in. In 2025, deep-sea hotels, arms units deployed near Guam's Twilight Zone, yielded over 2,000 specimens, including at least 20 new to science. 1. A sea slug from Marionea genus with yellow spots and branch-like serrata resembling a psychedelic Christmas tree. Another potential, an orange cardinalfish possibly an Apigonyctioides, pending DNA confirmation. Arctic expeditions in 2024 to 2025 uncovered hairy decapod shrimp at 3,000 meters near Jottle Vents. These shrimp farm bacteria on their setae, waving arms in hot fluids like living cultivators. Red deep-sea anemones add color bursts, while armored isopods scavenge relentlessly. Let's chase more legends rooted in reality. Ancient mariners feared the hydra-like multi-headed beasts of Greek tales. Some link them to sightings of siphonophores, colonial organisms acting as one super creature. The Portuguese man-o'-war is a surface example, but deep relatives like Maris orthocana stretch long chains of specialized zooids, stinging, digestive, reproductive. When they flash bioluminescent signals, a drifting monster appears alive with pulsing lights. The Makara from Hindu mythology, a water creature with elephant trunk and fish body, inspired tales of hybrid sea beasts. Real culprit? Perhaps oarfish relatives or drifted carcasses combining features in decayed states, washing ashore looking chimeric. Filipino Bakunawa, the moon-eating serpent causing eclipses, ties to pressure-sensitive deep dwellers surfacing before quakes. Oarfish again? Or perhaps large eels and ribbonfish that sense seismic shifts and strand en masse. Cetus, the Greek sea monster sent against Andromeda, resembled whale-like beasts. Early whalers encountering massive carcasses or breaching sperm whales in storms likely fueled these. But deeper, the walrus-headed Charybdis whirlpool monster may stem from giant cephalopod sightings tangled in currents. In 2025, a new nudibranch from MBAI's Midnight Zone footage stole attention. Bathydevius caudactylus, the mystery mollusk. It swims with a fingered tail and cavernous hood to engulf prey, glowing brilliantly. It even detaches glowing appendages as decoys, autotomy on steroids. Ultra-rare sightings include sinuous siphonophores twisting like living ribbons and curious crabs investigating ROVs. Spectacular sponges in 4K showed intricate structures filtering the sparse food supply. The flapjack octopus, with its pancake-like body, flies through water columns using ear-like fins, but stays deeper than most octopuses dare. Gigantism isn't the only rule, some go tiny. Pygmy pipe horses discovered off South Africa in 2025 camouflage perfectly on reefs, just 1.5 inches long. First of their genus in Africa, they highlight how habitat loss threatens even small deep relatives. The Darth Vader isopod, Bathynomus vaderi, hit headlines in 2025 off Vietnam. Over 12 inches long, this giant sea bug resembles the Sith Lord's helmet. Related to pill bugs but scaled up for scavenging nutrient-poor depths. Johnson's abyssal sea devil and other serratioed anglers wait with lures, but we skip repeats, focus on the gulper eel's expandable jaw pouch that balloons to swallow massive meals, then slowly digests over weeks. The Pacific viperfish sports photophores along its belly for counterillumination and a chin barbel lure, but its needle teeth curve so far they puncture its own head if not careful. No pockets, just raw adaptation. Sea spiders aren't true spiders. Pycnogonids with legs spanning dinner plates suck fluids from soft prey using a proboscis. In cold Antarctic depths, they dominate niches. The pink see-through fantasia isn't here, but transparent predators like certain jellies let you watch digestion in real time. Recent 2025 footage from Schmidt Ocean Institute showed methane seep communities flourishing with mussels and clams hosting symbionts. Life without sunlight, powered by ancient geological processes. In Hadal trenches, amphipods scavenge with ironclad exoskeletons resisting implosion. Some ingest microplastics, human fingerprint even at 10,000 meters. Exploration ramps up. NOAA's 2025 missions targeted mud volcanoes in the Marianas, mapping hazards, vents, and mineral deposits. ROV Hercules revealed coral sponge gardens and gas seeps teeming unexpectedly. The South Sandwich Trench's deepest points yielded juvenile colossal squid footage, first confirmed live young in habitat, plus new vents and explosive volcanism scars. Chinese 2025 dives confirmed Hadal life on 19 of 23 attempts, suggesting trench ecosystems are widespread. Tube worms, snails, worms, all at limits we thought impossible. A 2026 perspective, deep landscapes as new frontier. Trenches carved by subduction host unique faults leaking chemicals. Astrobiologists compare vents to alien oceans on Europa or Enceladus. Microplastics reach trenches via sinking particles, ingested by scavengers. We're already impacting the last pristine realm. New 2025 nudibranchs, predatory sponges, hairy shrimp, death ball hunters, each pushes boundaries. The ocean's midnight and Hadal zones hold Earth's greatest living space volume. Every subdive, new genomes, new morphologies. Imagine, microbes from Hadal sediments potentially holding biotech secrets, enzymes stable at extreme pressure, novel metabolisms. We mapped Venus and Mars better than our abyssal plains. Yet 2025 to 2026 brought unprecedented hauls. Thousands of specimens, hours of 4K video, dozens of new taxa. The deep isn't barren, it's a thriving, alien world sustaining itself on chemistry born in Earth's core. More creatures. The black dragonfish lurks 5,000 to 7,000 feet with bioluminescent chin lore and fearsome jaws. Females far larger than males, classic deep dimorphism. Snipe eels drift with beak jaws perpetually agape, funneling small prey. Lanternfish biomass dominates, tiny but numerous, photophores for schooling in dark. Hatchetfish's blade body reflects light to disappear from below. Bigfin squids trail tentacles 20 times body length, bending at elbows, ghostly drifters. The gulper's stomach stretches balloon-like for rare feasts. Dragonfish nanocrystals and fangs rival engineered materials. Squidworms paddle with tentacle streamers collecting fallout. Deep-sea lizardfish perch ambush-style, tongue-teeth gripping. Cockeyed squids asymmetric eyes, one up for silhouettes, one down for glows. Half crabs? Farm bacteria on hairy chests at vents. Pinkish-gray weirdos with slingshot jaws? Skip repeats. The cockeyed squid tilts 45 degrees swimming. Parrotfish sand contribution? Surface, but deep analogues grind minerals. Mantis shrimp cavitation heat? Shallow, but deep analogues punch in cold. Boxer crabs wield anemone pom-poms. Barnacles tag whale journeys via isotopes. Skates regenerate cartilage, medical gold. Marine iguanas scrape algae, intertidal, but deep herbivores rare. Lobster pea courtship. Sand tiger cannibal embryos. Turtle tears salt. Starfish square mutations. Sperm whale clicks deafen prey. Dolphin X-ray echo. White shark tooth conveyor. Harlequin shrimp devour flipped stars slowly. Sponges pre-dinosaur, some 11,000 years old. Pygmy seahorses lifelong on one fan. Ultra-black vanishing act. Ghost fish at 8,143 meters. Basking useless teeth. Gray whale epic migrations. Octopus 3 hearts, arm brains. The deep keeps secrets, new frontiers, new monsters, all real. If this blew your mind, comment your wildest takeaway, like for more abyss dives, subscribe to never miss an unknown revelation. The ocean's depths are infinite wonder. Dive deeper with us next time. Stay curious, the abyss is watching back.